Good afternoon, Bruce. At one point in your practice session today, you kind of got the guys at center ice and told them that you were going to give them a pass today because they've had a few days off and maybe the intensity wasn't where it needed to be today. Was that the message, Bruce?
Yeah, I mean, you just don't want them to go through the motions. We want to, if we're practicing and other teams are not because of COVID, we'd certainly like to take advantage of it. But I fully understand, quite frankly, when you've been off as much as we've been off, we've basically just played games for the last 10 days and haven't had practices. So, I mean, usually they're a little sloppier. And I was just trying to indicate to them that I thought it was a little sloppy today.
The silver lining to this, Bruce, you're finally getting what any coach wants is practice time. What is your plan moving forward here this week? Are you going to have a mini camp? Are you going to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Have you thought about that?
Well, I know we're going tomorrow.
Okay.
That's really where I'm at right now. But I mean, with the lack of practicing, we haven't been able to implement all the changes that I would like to implement or practice the changes that we have made. So hopefully this week before the break that we can get all that done. And that's what we're hoping. Today was, if you notice, it was just up and down the ice. The whole thing we wanted to accomplish was skating and get the legs back for tomorrow. So, I mean, that's, and I think we accomplished that.
We'll move to Ian McIntyre, Sportsnet.
Good morning, Bruce. How challenging is it if you're going to try and refine some of the systems or add to what you've already installed? How challenging is it when you're still missing 5 guys who are on the COVID list?
Yeah, you know what? You can only do it with the people that are there, though. I mean, I understand, and you'd love to have everybody back, but hopefully individually we can implement it by talking and showing, and when they do come back, showing them what we've already done, and hopefully they get it in a hurry. It's some things that you're not going to get in a hurry, but through practice you get it. And you know, I think every coach in the world would love every player that they have to be able to practice. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess, and you do the best you can with what you have.
And how good are you at compartmentalizing? Because I agree, it gives you a bit of a tactical advantage when so many other teams are shut down, but you don't know yet when you'll actually be next playing a game, and there's a level of uncertainty to all this.
There is, but I don't know what compartmentalize means. So if I can figure out that word, I'll be able to answer your question. But I mean, yeah, dumb it down for me. 2 syllables.
Well, okay, there's an uncertainty to this. Normally, if you have a schedule break, you're practicing and you know that you're going to have a defined return, and that's what you plan for. In this case, there's a lot of worry going on in the world, and part of the uncertainty is you don't know when you're next going to be playing. So does that cause you uncertainty as a coach, not exactly knowing what you're working towards?
Well, not really, because I'm planning on playing on the 27th until I'm told not to, and then you just take it one day at a time type thing. I'm planning on, you know, letting these guys know that we're playing on the 27th, so they're getting ready for the 27th. And other than that, I have no idea. We weren't shut down; we were just postponed. So that's my assumption right now. Hopefully, none of our players more get COVID, and the other guys get better. And then I would think it would probably go a long way towards playing. So that's all I can do. I can't read the future and say we might not be playing. I got to prepare as if we're playing for that date.
Next up, we have Brianna Himmelwright, CBC.
Hello, Bruce. Hope you can hear me okay. You mentioned that you're hoping to be playing for the 27th, and you've had 2 games postponed this weekend. Exactly how many more games have had to be postponed or canceled as a result of the new restrictions, and how will the team be using this time?
Well, I mean, the games that have been canceled are the only ones that have been canceled for us right now. So, I mean, we're going on the assumption that we're playing the 27th of December. and we're preparing as if that's the day. If they decide that that's not the day and there's a pause or what have you, then we will just we'll do what we have to do to get ready. But I'm trying to get the players ready for that date, and hopefully, with these practices that we're able to have, we will they will all be ready. I mean, they're excited about playing. When you're playing well and you're having success, you can't wait to get back playing. We wish, unfortunately, that we didn't have these games canceled that were canceled, but they were. So we just have to stay strong mentally and be ready for the next ones.
We'll move to Farhan Lalji, TSN.
Bruce, can you confirm that there have been, or just one way or the other, have there been any positive cases in the last 2 days since we spoke to Jim last?
I can confirm that there have been none.
Okay.
The last 2 days, we've had no positive tests. Everything's been negative, and that's probably the reason we're able to practice, is because we've had no positive tests. I would assume that if a couple players today we tested again this morning, test positive, then that would probably have go a long way to shutting everything down, I think, for us for a couple days. But as of now, we haven't had anything positive.
Were there any concerns about even getting back on the ice? We go back to last Tuesday and the guys didn't want to do the morning skate. Given the uncertainty around the situation, were there any guys that said, this might not be the right thing like they did last Tuesday?
Well, I didn't hear that from anybody. As a matter of fact, when I phoned our captain last night, he was looking forward to getting back on the ice because they hadn't been on the ice A, for a couple of days, and B, even when we were playing every second day, we weren't practicing. So they were excited about getting back on the ice, which is a great sign of a team wanting to play.
We'll go to Jay Janauer, Global.
Bruce, good afternoon. I know you weren't here and you weren't coaching the last time that this team got hit very hard with COVID. It's my understanding that I know the Calgary Flames, with all their cases that they had, nobody was sick. Can you bring us up to date with the health of the guys who are still in protocol and where they are health-wise?
You know what? Quite frankly, I haven't heard too much of them being ill. I know they have it, but I haven't talked to John today to see if any of the players are on their beds feeling really horrible. So I think a lot of it is just they want to test negative so they can get out and skate by themselves at first and then skate with us. So I'm honest when I say I haven't heard of any guys being really, really sick. I may be wrong. I'll find out right after this interview and go ask myself, but I haven't heard about it at all.
Further to Ben's question about practice, Bruce, when we first chatted with you, you said because you just didn't have the time that you guys are going to be playing so many games, you're working at, 1/3 of the ice, the neutral zone, the defensive zone. Now that you're going to have a bit of time on your hands, how much better, Bruce, do you think the club will be when you finally get to play that next game, whenever it'll be?
I don't know how much better they'll be, but they'll be more knowledgeable about how I want them to play. They've played pretty well so far. I mean, if they got better, that would be great. But they will, I've still not been able to go over things, and we've just sort of ad-libbed a few situations. I'd like to get it where we know what we're doing all the time from even this week, if we have time to go over face-offs, playing them a little bit differently than we have been. So like I said earlier last week, I said it's amazing how you don't think about how important training camp is, but it certainly is important when you want to implement new things.
We'll go to Thomas Drance, The Athletic.
Bruce, are you able to walk us through just a little bit how this weekend played out, dating back to your club's decision not to practice on Friday, presumably in response to some positive tests? Can you just walk us through, from your perspective, what it's been like sort of making decisions on how to come back, when to not practice, et cetera, as your club has dealt with, this?
Well, I think it's conversations between the players, upper management, and myself, and what we thought would be best. I mean, The unfortunate thing is that these guys have all gone through this and knew what the results were, and they didn't want that again. So, I mean, they were being really cautious and probably a little bit afraid. And I don't blame them at all. I mean, nobody wishes the situation that happened to the Canucks last year and the players that went through it. Nobody wants that again. So, I mean, when they said they didn't think it was prudent or smart to practice, we didn't do it. I mean, I'm a newbie at this with the pandemic and stuff. So I'm definitely taking a lead from the people that have gone through it. And if they tell me it's a better situation not to practice, we don't practice. And it's simple as that.